Jake one, right? Jack, but they call him Jake, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think, okay, well.
And he lived, and he's...
And he was, Guy was a real operator. And he
He
built,
a lot of property.
Schwartz built this place, and he was going to, the idea was that he was going to live here. And I think it was a family problem, marriage problem, that Schwartz and his wife didn't get along. And Guy, and the reason I said he was an operator, he would make sure he saw Jake Schwartz for a few beers at the bar until he got to know Jake really well. And
then he pounced on him.
And then he said to Jake, what are you going to do with that place? And Jake said, I'm going to sell the damn thing. And Guy said, for how much? He said, how much would you give me? And Guy thought real fast and said, $40,000. And I think that's the way it was actually.
I thought it was a lot less.
10,000.
I thought it was 15,000. God, listen to all the stories.
Okay,
George?
well, that's what
I never heard a number, but I don't think it was as high as 40.
Oh,
I thought
Yeah.
Schwartz built it on speculation, and he built the other cottage over here, which is an identical plan to this, except it's reversed.
It used to be Sexsmith
Is that
or Myers.
Myers, yeah.
Myers,
Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure my version is right either, but that was my recollection.
What do you think it was? He did pay for it. I just pulled $40,000 out just to get you guys.
No, I don't think.
I heard 15, and I think Mom told me 15, so, you know, that could be a lie.
That's right, the
You know how Mom is.
The cashes were in on it.
Yeah.
They
right.
used the money from Grandma.
Yes.
I think that was distressed merchandise in those days too, because, you know, they were just coming out of the Depression and real estate was not selling up here then. And I think he got a real deal. And of course the Cashins were part of it too.
Yeah. So otherwise they never would have been able to afford to buy this place.
Mom? I'm sorry. Mom, what was your number?
14 or 15,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you think,
That sounds
Marge?
about right.
Yeah, but don't forget there were two families going in
Yeah,
on it.
but they...
Nonetheless.
Yeah.
This should be one of the things you can confirm from records.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
The original deed of that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Good, yeah. Your parents bought that house in 1961.
Look how well built this is.
Of course, totally different market.
Yeah, totally different market, but
It was well put together.
And so forth.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, it's for 68 years old, it's hung together pretty
Right,
darn well.
and for a cottage, you know,
Yeah.
built for a cottage, not a
So, not for
year-round.
living, yeah. But if you have your limitations, you look at the thickness of those walls, you try to get insulation in there, you'd have a...
I know.
Yeah.
And then a crisis, the first crisis came when there were too many people in the cottage. Too many Cashins and too many garages.
That was our fault and Jim and Virginia.
And Pat.
Pat and Hatch.
Yeah, you have to go and get married.
Yeah.
And then, if you can imagine, the problem between Guy and Cashins, who keeps this, and where do the Cashins, who keeps this and where do the Cashins go?
Where do the cash go?
There was
The two problems that you worked out.
any problem. I don't recall there was any kind of...
No argument at all.
That's a nice spot
And
over there.
Marge,
Yeah, in many
Marge,
ways it's much nicer.
That's a nice just to make sure
property,
my history's right, that land was part of the original purchase.
Right.
I'm not sure whether...
The land of the
odd
you mean where the Cashins place
Yeah.
was?
Yeah, that was just, open land.
But it was part of the original purchase. It wasn't.
I'm pretty sure
it was a split off. It wasn't a.
Yeah.
Oh, so they built the cabins over there on. Okay, it was their own plan. Okay.
Yeah, they decided there were too many people, with all of us with their families, that we couldn't all just stay together and have this. And besides, it wasn't winterized, and of course, people don't buy places like this anymore that you can't use year round, including this one.
And then they had decide where the Cashin property started. And, so there were some tough decisions. And then how did they decide who got this and who got?
Was there furniture and?
Maybe the one with the most, the bigger family.
Well, just the
Yeah, and I
place
don't
itself,
remember
who-
any.
Oh, who got
kind of-
this,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I
don't
know.
remember any kind of, ill feeling or,
Nothing.
arguing
Oh, I
about,
can't imagine between,
no,
Them.
like Aunt Grace and
Yeah,
mother.
and your mother, oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
well,
nobody
Guy
picked a
and,
fight with
and
them.
Stubb were close
Yeah, they were,
friends.
they were really
compatible.
buddy,
yeah.
yeah.
But didn't Jim Cashin have some anger about something that happened in that? It seems to me that I remember hearing
He might
something.
Canoe?
have. The canoe?
Oh,
Maybe
that would
he
make
wanted
sense,
this one.
cause we got
I don't know.
the nice canoe, which we no longer have.
No, but I think there was some lingering resentment that Jim Cashin held towards Guy.
Well, but you
that
know,
Stubb
that,
didn't, but Jim did. I
see, Jim would be the kind, he was, you know, he was such a nice guy, but he might sit back and not say anything when he should have spoken up, too. And I think that might be what happened.
see, and I don't remember any details, but I remember somebody saying something along those lines. And I don't remember what it was
How
about.
it all worked out.
But was
Yeah.
Stubby still alive when they moved it? When
Oh,
did
yeah.
that
Oh,
happen?
yeah.
Yeah, he died in 1956
or something like that?
I think so.
50. Yeah, I was in high school, I know.
I think what happened was that Guy, he wanted to be fair about it. And I think he made an arrangement so that they would have this and Cashins would have, they would build buildings for the Cashins, so that would be a very attractive. There's nothing wrong with that property, that's beautiful.
Mhm.
And, I think that probably was the way Guy would operate. He would see that it was plenty fair to them. But boy, that was really careful, relationships, and like Marge says, it just went without any problem at all.
But, you know, there could have been some underlying resentment, that we didn't know about at the time. And maybe some of them still hung on to that later.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I mean, I think they probably, in the end, it was a nice layout that
They
they
were
had.
like that.
Mhm.
The three different, a
Yeah.
lot more flexibility.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah,
Yeah.
that, I always thought that I had wished that ours were like that, you know, where we had three different
Yeah.
buildings and, 'cause, you know, this is kind of big unless you had your whole family come up,
Yeah.
and which we did, which we appreciated.
Well, Daddy was not shy. And I always thought he kind
Who?
of, Daddy.
Oh, yeah, no, he wasn't, our dad was not shy about it, and, you know, if nobody said anything, you know, he'd just go ahead and do it.
Well, I think,
And I think some of the Cashins might not have always looked so kindly on some of it.
Well, Jim Cashin was, he was kind of the leader of the Cashins, and I think he might have resented a little bit the power that Guy had,
Yeah.
and not saying he.
Yeah,
also
Guy
was
couldn't
such a-
help it. Guy did it.
And he
somebody
was the
had to
kind of
take the
Yeah.
guy,
reins.
Jim,
Yeah.
that wouldn't say anything about it because he respected Guy so much. But
I could certainly see it happening. You get a division like that amongst family, and everything's going real swimmingly, and everything seems good, and
Yeah.
you get resentment. You're thinking everybody's, families are not. I can see Jim
And on the
thinking.
surface, everything
Yeah.
was fine, but you know, if nobody said anything and disputed, you know, what's the guy to do? Just drop the whole thing.
I remember when, I can remember as a child listening to Guy and Stubb talking about, even as they were in the process of building, and I guess that first thing was actually supposed to be a garage, or were they just kidding about that because it was wartime and you weren't supposed to build a cottage during wartime, but you could build a garage? I don't know. But anyway, that's what they were, I remember them talking about how they were building a garage over there, and then the next thing I know, it's a cottage.
Yeah,
They moved in the garage.
Yeah.
Well, I think another thing that happened is Jim and Guy got together and bought that canoe.
The wooden canoe down below us?
Well, I don't know where it is now.
Down below.
Yeah,
Still
under this,
Still exists?
waiting for somebody to
The last-
do something with it.
the
Yeah, that's right.
last I ever heard or saw, was right under here.
And then something turned up that there was a discussion about who the canoe
Belong to?
belonged to. And Jim said that he had paid for part of it.
Jim Cash?
Yeah. And that time, that's right. Guy got it.
But you know, like I said,
Guy got to win that argument?
well, there wasn't an argument because my dad was the one that, you know, if nobody said anything, he just did it.
Yeah.
And sometimes the Cashins,
And after all, the canoe was in this property here.
Possession? Yep.
Is that
Possession.
canoe still here?
It's still there.
It is.
Yeah, it's still, it's down below. That's down there. I've looked, it's been stored under the porch here for quite a few years now.
Yeah.
Waiting for somebody, you know, to I'd love to see somebody rehab it, maybe I'll have to.
It was refurbished about, 25 years ago, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Almost new.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not any good anymore.
It's still got some, it would be worth, I think it'd be worth the, cost. I mean, it all depends. I mean, I always fancied I would do it. I've got a couple canoes at home that need refurbishing. I've never done it.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, way down my priority list because I've been waiting 25 years to do it, and I've been just carrying them around with me everywhere I move.
Nobody would miss it if you took it.
Yeah. Well, but I think that's got a family history that, to me, is, you know, I got the old rowboat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In case anybody ever wants, you know, just to keep reminding people that, you know, it's not my boat, it's a family boat, and I've been storing it for 20 years.
It's a classic, isn't it?
It's a classic, yeah. I would love to see both that rowboat, you know, with a small motor on it, and the old wooden canoe back in the water. But that's, you know, we'd always see that, but what it costs to get it done. But they're both of them are very rehabable. They're not. It'll be a lot of work, but they're not.
They're both wooden, aren't they? Wooden strip?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know the
Canvas covered?
they were the rowboat for sure was canvas covered. That's been stripped of the canvas, and I think you're probably better off going fiberglass.
Yeah.
These days.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure about the canoe. If that was that's been redone a couple times, and I'm not sure if that's fiberglass now or canvas. I think it might be canvas right now, but it still might be fiberglass is going to last longer too. It's easier to work with and it'll last longer, and it's lighter, and we can keep on going, and it's easier to repair. What is there not to like about fiberglass over canvas?
Well, you take the
Besides
canvas off.
authenticity.
I had a canvas covered canoe one time and canvas was rotting away, so I ripped it off and fiberglassed it. And it worked out.
Yeah. I've never done that, but there's really no, besides authenticity, there's really no good reason for canvas to be used anymore.
Historical reasons, yeah.
Historical reasons.